Hey everyone, I hope you're doing well. We are in Ultra League for the critique corner, and we have some footage from TRNRNaufal. So I might be pronouncing that wrong, so my apologies ahead of time. But this looks like some pretty interesting footage with some Charizard action. So let's take a look and see how the battles played out. Before we get into the battles, a big shout out and thank you to all my patrons who've been supporting my content creation. If you would also like to have early access to my strategies and lineups, or see behind the scenes footage of my battles, feel free to sign up in the Patreon link down below. We're going to start queuing into this first battle, and then we'll take a look at the team as well, and obviously the elo once we get to that point. So, Shadow Lone Sandslash with Tapu Fini and Charizard. Unclear if it's Shadow Charizard or not, but I like this team already. I think it's very, very solid. It looks like it was thrown on CMP, which is not the worst idea against a Skuntank, because you will be able to outpace. Shadow Lone Sandslash, honestly, is one of the best Pokemon in not only Great League, but Ultra League at the moment. So if you have the resources to make one, especially in Ultra League, highly recommend it. I think looking on the surface, the team already looks really, really strong. All right. I'd probably swap out. I don't know. Charizard typically walls us off if they don't have Future Sight, but I guess you completely wall off the Cresselia. Oh, okay. Yeah, I mean, you wall off the movesets. Yeah, this is nice. You wall off the movesets off Cresselia either way, so you stay in, and then the opponent kind of made a mistake by throwing the Grass Knot. I feel like Moonblast would have been a little better, because then you don't really give away the full moveset. It's unlikely it's Future Sight and Grass Knot, which means that now, Naufal already knows that the Charizard completely walls off, and building up to double Blast Burn. I think Dragon Claw probably would have been enough, but really good track of keeping counts there. Throwing on CMP against a Skuntank, huge. Oh my gosh, getting so much advantage. And the opponent's just going to leave. I mean, honestly, the opponent definitely had, I don't know, I think he gets a Blast Burn either way. Yeah, that was really well played. You know, at first I was like, maybe you just come in to the Charizard right away. Like, yeah, Future Sight, you still should be in a pretty decent spot against Cress. But I like that play a lot better from Naufal. All right, and we're seeing the Elo's at 2864. So pretty close to Legend, honestly. I think hitting Legend this season is almost a certainty for Naufal. But let's see kind of how the rest of these battles play out. So Shadow or non-Shadow Nidoqueen, but still force a shield. This is pretty good. Yeah, you probably just let the first one go. That Cobalion is super annoying. Oh my gosh, and getting to that final surf, that's huge. That's such an advantage. Oh, this is very big. Now, I mean, the annoying part is you might get baited, but that being said, a shield advantage Charizard is still very, very good to be in. It's probably going to be a bait, but again, you kind of have to respect it, right? Because otherwise you're going to get permanently debuffed. So even though it was a bait, I still like that play from Naufal. All right. Oh, yeah, and complete core broken. Very nice. Honestly, if I had a Shadow Lone Sandslash, this team looks pretty good. I'm trying to think what are the biggest core breakers. Virizion in the lead is super annoying. I will say that, especially if it has Leaf Blade, but that's a little bit hard to determine based off of just the lead alone. So sometimes it might be okay to swap in Tapu Fini, but it could be kind of a dicey situation. All right. Opponent swaps in Blastoise. Interesting. I like this play. Just like chip a little bit, right? You have pretty decent coverage for that Glaring Weezing in the back. I was surprised the opponent didn't like, oh, okay. Did they catch a Hydro Cannon or they just have... It's weird. They might have Hydro Cannon Ice Beam. Yeah. Honestly, if I was the opponent, I still wouldn't throw the Hydro Cannon right away, because it means that Naufal doesn't have to shield, right? Whereas you want to at least bait the move you have. But yeah, I wouldn't be surprised if you let this go. Oh, it's still hanging out. Wow. Yeah, I mean, even if you let that go, you're in a good spot because you have two things that kind of beat the Glaring Weezing. I probably come in Lone Sandslash to not show the third right away. Yeah, I like this play a lot. That might have just been like a gut reflex swap. I think Naufal knows that this is probably not the ideal play. It's definitely not over. But yeah, you definitely want to save the Charizard for the Glaring Weezing, right? Yeah, I mean, that happens. I do that still to this day quite a bit. The good news is this Weezing might not have Overheat, and we can potentially tell based on the shield usage here. This is really good because, yes, you do have to spend a shield, but you already have a decent energy lead going into the back end matchup. Oh, this is kind of uncomfortable. I think you'd have to shield it, though. Yeah, even play rough is going to be a little threatening. I don't think the drill one's enough either. It's possible they have overheat. Yeah, they do have overheat, so that's kind of tough. Yeah, obviously I think Naufal probably knows already in that situation. You just stay into the Tapu Fini, but sometimes those gut reflexes get us from time to time. So, but other than that, I like the plays. I like the plays so far. It's been pretty crisp. Definitely run into some cute times. But you could tell that, like, you know, obviously I'm showcasing a lot of trainers from very different elo ranges, and it's no coincidence why Naufal is like close to hitting legend already, whereas some other trainers might be still in the vet category or ace category that I'm featuring. And this is not a knock on those trainers. It's more so the fact that there's no coincidence on why some of the higher elo trainers have better mechanics or better mid to late game decision making skills, right? All right, so weird one. Okay, we draw the Ampharos, which is great. Yeah, I don't know. In that situation, I guess you had to swap out. Yeah, what am I thinking? You're completely walled off by the moveset of, the charge movesets are completely walled off by the Golisopod. Landing the Moonblast, though, is kind of nice. I mean, yeah, you don't really get a shield, but they have Volt Switch. They have Thunder Punch, which means that they probably have Brutal Swing as their second move. So there's really no big reason to shield even a potential Focus Blast, although I don't even think they get to that. Yeah, Golisopod is kind of annoying for this team, not gonna lie. And you do have to shield the Liquidation because it actually does a good chunk. Ooh, and we get the Defense drop, too. That's not ideal. But you do have a pretty positive matchup. I'd probably come out with a little bit more farm here. Well, I guess it doesn't really matter too much. Yeah, this is unfortunately a really tough team composition, I think. The opponent played it really well, too. I don't know if Naufal could play any better, because you have to shield the potential close combat, right? I mean, maybe I would even no shield. No, yeah, you kind of have to shield. But again, you're completely walled off from this moveset. From the Golisopod completely walls you off, so yeah, there's just very little you can do. I mean, Golisopod is built for this kind of matchup, right? This, Wall Rain, and a little bit of Swampert. Actually, no, a lot of Swampert, actually. Yeah, it's pretty good against Swampert, unless they're running Sludge Wave. So yeah, so that unfortunately I would say is for the most part just being hard countered. Yeah, the Charm Gramble is not great into Charizard, but the opponent played it well by dropping the Liquidation, and you have to shield. If you let it go, you definitely lose as well. That's one of those losses where, like, if you're the player, you're like, you know what, nothing I could have done there, right? Shrug it off, move on to the next. Unless you have a really bad team composition, that's like majority of your losses. I think that's totally fine. Swampert is definitely a core breaker for this team as well. That Shadow Hydreigon did not do as much as I thought it would. Wow. Yeah. I did not realize that was going to be the case. Ooh, a fantastic catch. Saving the Ice Punch for later was a great catch because now they're in Dragon Claw range, and so even Charizard can handle it, right? And you draw out something that might be weak to a Alolan Sandslash. Instead of being Brutal Swing. Interesting. Brutal Swing Overheat? I mean, yeah, I don't think you could comfortably still come in with the Alolan Sandslash. I think you just come in Charizard and come out with energy. The thing is, Hydreigon is going to pretty much one-shot Charizard anyway, so it doesn't really matter if you take any additional damage from Brutal Swing. Probably get thrown that Surf, but I think you still get it off. Oh yeah, you definitely get it off. Yeah. Okay, that one you probably could have thrown earlier, but maybe you just want to come out with energy. I don't know. Maybe trying really hard to optimize there, but okay. The opponent is down a Wing Attack, and they are running Shadow Charizard instead of non-Shadow. Ooh, I like this combo play a lot. You just sacrifice the Alolan Sandslash at this point, right? Because, well, they might throw Dragon Claw, but that's fine. You honestly probably just no-shield the Charizard, too. Ooh, it's kind of a tricky situation. I mean, I think you just shield. Just a safe play to shield, because this way... do you outpace? I guess it depends on what cycle the Swampert is on. You win CMP, though. Alright. It's going to... It's a little dicey if they catch... Oh, okay. No, all the way farm down. Alright, that's big. Probably just go safely for the Blast Burn in case they no shield. Yeah, I mean, it doesn't really matter too much. Like, they're not going to have a move that one-shots you unless they're running, like, Hyper Beam for whatever reason. But yeah, I think that was good. I think, honestly, probably just throw the move with the Tapu Fini, but... because even if you're behind by one Wing Attack with your Charizard, you could still combo play and throw the Ice Punch from the Alolan Sandslash, right? So I think Naufal is still good, be in a pretty good spot either way. Might have just been like a miscalculation on the timing there. But yeah, Brutal Swing is pretty quick with Fairy Wind. I think it's 5-4, 5-4, just like Dragon Claw. So just something to be aware of for anyone watching. That plays into a lot of Galarian Weezing. I mean, it is becoming more and more popular these days. All right. Oh, okay. Looks like they were trying to go for the catch. Maybe good recognition. Yeah, this could potentially be a Rock Blast. Yeah, so you kind of have the shield. But you're in a pretty good spot after that. Whew. That's a lot of energy. I mean, and it's a non-shadow Charizard into a non-shadow Alolan Sandslash. Like, even if they hit you with an Ice Punch, you don't need a shield. Oh my gosh. Oh, that was a quick one. Yeah. Yeah, the opponent... Yeah, if they shield that, I think the opponent loses for sure. Because you have the Drill Run that's super effective for the Toxic Rogue and the Alolan Sandslash, and then you're resisting all the counter damage from the Toxic Rogue on the Tapu Fini. So I think they were just making a bait call because they're ready. Oh no, they're up a shield though. I don't know. In my opinion, it's not the best. Like, no shield, I think, from the opponent. But maybe they're trying to make a read. Alright. Registeel. It's going to be an interesting one. Poliwrath is also a little bit interesting. It's not great for Charizard into Poliwrath, especially if they're running Scald. So I guess it just depends on what moveset they're running. But yeah, I mean, most are probably running Ice Punch, and maybe, I don't know. I've seen moveset combination of all sorts of things from Poliwrath. This is the unfortunate part. You have to respect these. Yeah. And the problem is you can't really soak up this damage. But yeah, I like this immediate throw, honestly. Just get it out of the way. But I don't know how you beat a Poliwrath with a Charizard shields down. Ooh, I don't know. This is a lot of damage you're taking. Typically, like, double super effective, and you're giving the Poliwrath energy. Like, obviously, if they don't have Scald, this is a different story. I guess you lie the first one, go, oh, they do have Scald, yeah. Yeah, because then they have so much energy, right? Yeah, so I think that was probably a very tough team composition anyway. There's a couple ways you could play it. You could just let the Alolan Sandslash go, or you shield the Charizard but come in with Charizard instead of the Alolan Sandslash. Because the NG on Charizard is going to go a lot further than the NG on Alolan Sandslash. Because the NG you have on Alolan Sandslash is only going to be used against a Poliwrath, right? And that's not going to do too much. Alright, Jellicent, definitely kind of a core breaker, but you have play. And Tapu Fini and Charizard honestly beats Gliscor, so you're fine to no shield. Yeah, so I think and you're still in a pretty good spot. But yeah, that last matchup, I think I wouldn't stay in Alolan Sandslash into that Poliwrath because, again, you want to minimize the bad matchups you have as long as possible. Like, eventually, if the Alolan Sandslash gets matched up against Poliwrath, it is what it is. But they just benefit so much more getting double super effective counters through, right? Oh, the double shield. Okay. This is definitely interesting. This is a little... I think they land a Zapcan, which doesn't KO, but then they can lock on you down. Yeah. I don't know about that one. I think you could just safely let the Alolan Sandslash go, right? Because you have two things that beat the Gliscor in the back. And so the Gliscor doesn't have too many options to go. I mean, this is still winnable, but... I don't know. I think depending on how much residual energy this Registeel gets, I think it gets a Zapcan. Oh, and they catch. That's a really solid catch from the opponent. Yeah, this one might be over. They should be able to get to Zapcannon here, and you'll probably be close to Night Slash range after the wing attack damage. Yeah. Well, you got at least one Surf off. You need two. The attack drop was a little unfortunate, but at the same time, the attack drop did allow for more energy to be built up. Yeah, I think in that situation, you just let the Alolan Sandslash go. Because after that, you can farm down with Tapu Fini, right? They come in with Registeel, you come in Charizard. You know, you still have a shield remaining, and the Gliscor can't really take you out. Any damage you take from Gliscor is not a big deal, because the Zapcan is still pretty much one-shots. So you benefit there quite a bit. Alright, this opponent throws the Drill Run right away. It's possible that that this Alolan Sandslash is pretty high rank, so they know that it's not going to win CMP. Okay. Doesn't get the baits. I don't hate that bait, but yeah, you just lose CMP here again. I mean, it's going to be a Drill Run. It's not a bad shield. Okay, good catch. Yeah, because you gotta expect them to throw a Drill Run. Because they know they get to the same timing, and they know they win CMP. Opponent leaves with energy. Okay, we get the Jellicent out, which is ideal because you really don't want the Charizard matched up against it. No debuff, but that's okay. I think the Shadow Ball should KO, or just barely. Gets the Surf off. This Surf damage is not bad. They do get an extra Hex off of it though, but it's not too bad. I think you have the Drill Run loaded, so I think you just throw the Drill Run. Yeah, good optimization though to get a little bit more energy, I guess. Oh, you don't have too much to lose. All right. This is going to be interesting. Can you wing attack down? They still have a shield, right? Oh, dude, yeah, that's tough. Same team except Jellicent instead of Tapu Fini. I mean, honestly, that's another great variation in the team, so could be good. But yeah, not laying the bait there was a little unfortunate. Kind of a risk you take, right? Baiting there. I don't think it's a bad bait. I wouldn't stay in this matchup so long, right? I think, again, just like that Poliwrath versus Alolan Sandslash, you don't want to stay in that matchup too long. Okay, interesting. Was on CMP. Swap over. I mean, Charizard still has a lot of play in the back end. It's possible they're running Psycho Boost Rock Slide. Okay, yeah. So they're probably very strong into... Well, I was going to say they're going to probably be very strong into Registeel in the back, but they're not that strong into Registeel. All right, we get a Surf. They might no shield because of CMP. No, they do shield. Okay. Can you get to the Moonblast? Okay, you can. That's huge. This is big. If you get shields down, your Charizard just sweeps. Good no shield from the opponent. I mean, this is still really dicey because you can't really shield. Maybe come in low and Sandslash. Oh my gosh, I got boosted too. Whew. This is getting tough. You don't want a double shield. Yeah. I think you just come in with Charizard, come up with a bunch of energy. You had to shield everything. I mean, boosted Ancient Power from a Galarian Moltres. Oh my gosh, double boosted. Really good counting though. To be honest, I don't know my wing attack to Ancient Power counts. So, oh man, Guzzlord, I gotta say, is super annoying. It's got so much bulk, and the Dragon Tail damage is no joke. Honestly, I think you probably throw like without even optimizing. Yeah, I like that a lot. Because you don't want to take the Dragon Tail damage, right? I like that a lot. Yeah, so this gives you a little bit of a chance. I don't know if it's enough. Whew. It's going to be close. I don't think this is. It is Deoxys Defense. But I think, yeah, I think they did everything they can in that situation. That's a tough one. That's a tough one. But again, I think overall, the gameplay was solid, especially in that first set, right? Maybe a second set could have been a little bit cleaner, but for the most part, a few things I noticed is and I saw this specifically against Poliwrath and Deoxys Defense, is staying in Alolan Sandslash in those matchups. You just have so much less to gain than the opponent does, because not only, like, yeah, super effective Shadow Claw into Deoxys Defense, it doesn't really do that much, right? And the charge moves are all neutral. Charge moves and fast move for Poliwrath is neutral, and yeah, you just don't have as much to gain in those matchups. So the longer you stay in those matchups, the worse it is for you, right? I think I mentioned that in a couple critique videos, but yeah, I think that's a very good example of it, because you just take so much damage and they get energy, right? And having an energy lead for those situations is a little bit tough. Any other mistakes I noticed were probably just one-off mistakes, like swapping in the Charizard into a Tapu Fini, probably just more of a misclick or a gut reaction, or not throwing the Surf against Galarian Weezing when the move was there. But I think those are kind of one-off mistakes that maybe just a counting error or just like a gut reaction. I don't think that's like an issue that may be prevalent in multiple other games. So that wouldn't be something I would stress over, but overall, shout out to Naufal for sending me the footage. I think it was a really solid team, and love to see Shadow Alolan Sandslash put in work. So for those looking for a Shadow Alolan Sandslash team, you're not going to get one from me, but you can get one from these critique corners, and this was a great one. So thank you for the footage, and if anyone else wants to get their footage critiqued by me, feel free to shoot me a DM at Peng on Twitter with the footage, and I will be sure to take a look at it and make a video on it in the future, because these have been really fun, and shout out to everyone that's been doing it. If you like this video, feel free to give it a like and share, subscribe for future content, hit that notification bell to get alerted right when I post a new video, and I'll catch you all next time.